from Magic Square. It is the MS-07 Space Shuttle, or as we like to call him, Blast-Off. Yes, this is the masterpiece size toy that is extremely reminiscent of the original Blast-Off. Looks like he's from the cartoon, and just, you know, a big guy. And it's the final one for the merge form of, I don't know if Magic Square has a name for the merged form, but I'm just going to call him Bruticus. But before I go too much further, I do want to thank Tommy Park's store for sending this to me at no cost so I could review it for you. And this is going to be a double whammy because there's going to be this video, and then there's going to be an additional video where we go over all of them combining into Bruticus. And you can find a link to the Tommy Park store in the description. Hit them up. They have some great toys. But you are here to see the secrets of the Space Shuttle, yes? We're going to go through this guy bit by bit and have some fun along the way. And we might even be joined by a cat named Stormy. Be right back. So it is a lovely box. It has a picture of Space Shuttle on the front here. And inside we have this big plastic tray. Box is nice. It actually has tech specs on the back, which is kind of cool. But it does come with a bag of stuff. But let's check out the main things here first. And hey, there's no plastic stuff to like snip. So in here, actually it feels pretty heavy. We have the hips and upper thighs of Bruticus. We also have hands. Are you trying to get in the way? We have the left hand and the right hand, and you shouldn't let your left hand know what your right hand's doing, supposedly. But we have those, and in a nice little plastic bag, see you, Stormy, we have Space Shuttle himself. I'm gonna zoom in on him. I do have to say he looks very much like the Blast-Off we know from the cartoon. So in his bag here, we have, of course, instructions, which are important. We have a Magic Square card. I don't really collect those, but there is this little wing thing, which appears to plug into the back of Space Shuttle there. So he's got a little fin on his back, and a gun, which you can open up his hands. Jumping ahead on the articulation, but we'll talk about that again. And he's got little holes inside that you can plug the gun into, a la Masterpiece style. Wrap his fingers around them, and there you go. Fully armed. And we'll put that aside. Now, the other members of the Magic Square Combaticon team had a little bit better names. Tornado, you had Heavy Gunner, Munitioner, Night Tracer. This guy's name is Space Shuttle. I think they fell down under the name department. I kind of feel bad for him. Kind of to demonstrate, it's kind of like, so you appear to be pretty hefty Decepticon warrior. So what's your name? Space Shuttle. Space Shuttle? And what do you transform into? A Space Shuttle. Wait, your name is Space Shuttle and you change it to a Space Shuttle. Couldn't you have been a little more inventive? Like, I don't know, Blast-Off? Taken? How about Shuttle Gunner? No, that's also taken. Shuttler? Nope. Used. Movor? Absolutely not. It's taken, and I don't want people calling me to help them move. It's horrible. How about Galaxy Shuttle? That's an Autobot, and I already have one teammate and another Decepticon running around with the same name as an Autobot triple changer. No, thank you. How about Starfire? Are you trying to get me in trouble with DC? Just put me down as Space Shuttle. And it looks like a storm has come in, so good day, sir. I say, good day. So yeah, thank you, and scene. Of course, Stormy comes back to get into the way just as I want to get into some close-up stuff. Hey, so like I said, he looks a lot like right off the screen. It's amazing. My only complaint is his eyes are the same color as the rest of his face, which may actually be accurate to the cartoon. When I'm editing, I'll look at that, but they just barely look like eyes. You know, a little tint of red, you know, might have been nice. Obviously, no Decepticon symbol, but overall, he looks really good. And he's even got a butt cover, so you can't kick his ass that easy. So yes, a fine-looking robot. Let's get into some posability, which you've been waiting for as I went through that really bad little nameplay. So first of all, can he do a full toes-up Jean-Claude Van Damme? And it would appear that he can without a problem. Of course, part of the thing is the cat's walking by and the tail in my face. But the wings, of course, on his legs keep him from going straight down. So he kind of wobbles forward, but still, he can do it. Now, does he have ankle swivels? Well, he does. Quite generous ones, in fact. He could practically do a split and still be flat-footed. Obviously, you're not going to use them, at least I hope you're not going to use them that far out, but it makes for some good posing. Can he kick forward? Yes, he can, and he has similar hips to, I believe it's Tornado, aka Vortex, which has these pieces that move with the leg. Now, he can also kick backward, just not quite as high. Part of the problem is, though, with these types of attachments for the legs, if you just put it down and you're not careful to push that back into place, he can, well, maybe he could have a different name. Eileen. Sidekick, full split sidekick. Now he also has a knee, which is a little bit more than 90 degrees, so that's very nice. Swiveling. So he can swivel if you're pointing the leg down. He can swivel out and you can swivel in. In order to go all the way around, I think you have to go out to the side and then you can swivel it all the way around. But other than that, if it's straight up and down, you can't swivel it that way. Twisting at the waist. Not a problem. Nope. He looked a little aggravated, looking to the sky for a moment, like, say what? He also has the bow, so he's got the ab crunch. Arm can go all the way around. Bends at the elbow. I'm going to take the gun out, because otherwise it's just going to come out. Bends at the elbow a little bit more than 90 degrees. Has a nice swivel on his upper arm, and I think also on the lower arm. If you hold the bicep, there's a swivel at the elbow joint as well. Probably part of the transformation. Hands can spin around. All the fingers are individually articulated. So yes, he can give the finger. So I'm sure a few of you will be doing that. Arms can also go out to the side. He can pretty much reach up into the air, though the higher you reach, the weirder it looks. So probably better to do it this way if you want him to be like, hey, what's going on, guys? In a wave. Okay, that doesn't sound anything like how he is, and not that my impression of him before was all that great. His head, of course, can turn all the way around. He can look up. So if he's flying without transforming, he can look forward and, you know, can kind of tilt his head a little bit, nod. So a very well put together figure. Lots of posability. And he comes with his gun. Again, the only problem with the hip attachments is they can easily, if you move the legs around, get moved out of place, and then he could potentially fall over. But spin on the turntable of doom. He looks wonderful. Great looking figure, and I'm very excited for the next video featuring these guys, which will put them all together. But let's transform him into a space shuttle, because that's his name. All right, let's do it. So there is Space Shuttle as a space shuttle, and again, looks a lot more like the original cartoon version of the character than the original toy, to be quite honest. Now, his gun, supposedly, I've read that it's supposed to somehow go up his ass, be connected in the rear of the vehicle, and have weapon storage there. I couldn't figure it out. I did watch some other people's videos because sometimes these things are very complex. So trying to get them into this form, the instructions are not as intuitive as you might hope. So yes, I do on occasion get some help from other YouTubers, whether they know it or not. So I don't know how this fits in, but I still think he looks awesome as a shuttle. I mean, he's got an interesting configuration, I would say, in the back here of jets, but looks really good. Has one wheel here on his landing gear. These are not wheels, they're just covers. So in fact, you can take the covers off and there's no wheels underneath. They're just little slots that they plug into. But still an amazing representation. Definitely not for kids. You would have to have a very exceptional 8-year-old in order to have them transform this. So, to be honest, 8-year-olds are probably getting rather smarter than us old farts, so. But there you have it. The Space Shuttle Blast-Off, who can... I can't do a roll test, I'm sorry. Now, his length in shuttle mode is 11.5 inches. I forgot to actually mention his height in robot mode, which is about 8.25, between 8.25 and 8.5 inches. But again, a very, very nice looking shuttle. And I like it. I think it's a lot of fun. And I'm looking forward to combining it with the others using, you know, the hip bones connected to the knee bone and these hands, which go a little Hong Kong Phooey and have totally articulated fingers. So again, I want to thank the Tommy Park store for providing this, and again, a link in the description. Check them out. They have lots of stuff, not just these guys, but Dr. Wu stuff, and just all kinds of great stuff. Even if it may be a little too late to get for Christmas, if you get some cash for Christmas, what better to spend it on than Transformers, as long as your rent's covered. There is that. But again, a awesome and fun version of Blast Off. And if you're having fun watching these videos, by all means, feel free to subscribe. That would be awesome. And while you're debating over whether or not you want to get Space Shuttle, actually check out the video over here, which is all 3 of the land crew that form Bruticus. And we will see you next time. As always, have fun and good hunting.